Hello, I'm CyclingSavvy instructor John Allen, riding my bicycle on quiet Quinnipiquin Road in Newton, Massachusetts, USA, and turning right onto a frontage road to Massachusetts Route 9, which is not so quiet. The frontage road is very wide. Motorists can pass me on the left, although there are none at the moment. This is a view from a rear-facing camera. I have an appointment on William Street, a right turn before the frontage road merges onto Route 9. Getting to William Street is easy, but there are only two ways out. One is to ride back on the poison ivy-infested sidewalk on the right, and the other is to continue on Route 9. This is a tryout ride, so I'm just going to go up William Street a little ways and turn around and come back. But notice what this allows me to do. I can choose the time when I re-enter the frontage road and Route 9 and wait for the traffic to have cleared. It runs in platoons because there's a traffic light a mile or so back. The pickup truck driver ahead of me is waiting for an opportunity to enter the frontage road, but I'm going to wait until traffic clears on the main stem as well. I time my entry onto the frontage road to fall in just behind the end of the platoon on the main stem. The end of the platoon passes, and no more vehicles pass me on the left to merge right onto the off-ramp ahead. A large dump truck now approaches with its right turn blinker flashing. You can hear its engine brake, the Jake brake. The right-hand lane has widened out toward the off-ramp, and the truck passes me on the right without conflict. The traffic signal here blocks any left-turning traffic from the opposite direction on Route 9 from crossing my path. Now, why am I going onto the shoulder here? There is a reason. From this location, I can see all of the traffic on the on-ramp to my right and wait for it to clear. But also, I can wait for the traffic light behind me to turn red, and then I will ride through the underpass ahead on a completely empty roadway. If there were steady traffic coming down the ramp, it would probably be slower due to congestion on Route 9, and I'd negotiate with a motorist to slow and pass me on the left. The traffic light behind me is just turned red, the on-ramp is empty, and here I go. All the drivers entering from the on-ramp, as you notice, have moved to the second lane from the right. Up ahead, after the first traffic light, the right-hand lane serves mostly right-turning traffic, and then later it ends. Take a look back into the underpass. Nothing. The traffic light ahead controls left-turning traffic from Route 9 and right-turning traffic entering Route 9, very convenient for me when there is any. No traffic is using the right-hand lane except for me and one rogue motorcyclist who speeds by, though without endangering me. The added right turn lane here is to enter an office park at the next traffic light. A few vehicles in the lane directly behind me merge into the next lane well before reaching me. I can keep track of them in my rearview mirror, but I could also make a U-turn in the street to the right and turn right onto Route 9 on a green light. The narrowed shoulder here shortens a crosswalk. The next place where a pedestrian can cross is in a half mile. Not very pedestrian friendly. Better for bicyclists though, this is the older style part of Route 9 with a nice wide shoulder. The side streets are dead ends, no other way in or out. I'm not concerned about being right hooked by vehicles turning into those streets because the traffic here is so fast that anyone turning right would have to slow way down, giving me plenty of warning. So this section of Route 9, while it's certainly noisy, is quite tame. I rode and shot video of my ride on Route 9, for one thing because it was by far the shortest and most convenient route between two appointments I had on the same day, but also to demonstrate several strategies to make it easier to negotiate such challenging situations. And the interchange was among the most challenging I have ever faced. But let's please be done with the strong and fearless stereotype of bicyclists who keep up with traffic. No bicyclist will keep up with this traffic, and I'm not a strong rider anyway. My average speed to here from before the underpass was 14.5 miles per hour. Skill, not speed, dispels fear. It's possible to adopt pedestrian behavior and use the sidewalks in the interchange if the roadway proves to be too challenging. So almost any bicyclist could get through here one way or another, except in winter when the sidewalks are piled with snow. In any case, here I am at my second destination, and thanks for watching.